Hey guys, it's Andrew Henderson from nomadcapitalist.com here in Kuala Lumpur, and wanted to make a seemingly whimsical, but I think also important video on building a passport portfolio based on an interesting question I got from a kid named Micah about a month ago, and that became more relevant recently. Micah wrote into my team and asked, which passports would I get if I won the lottery? Basically implying that if money were no object, if it didn't have to really make sense economically, if you just had money all over the place, what would you do? Now, I don't play the lottery. I don't even know how you play the lottery in most of these countries. I don't really know how it works. So this is not going to be an issue for me. I have gone through different passport programs and obtained different passports, some of which I'm actually very proud of. And so, when it comes to passports, I think that probably I could do the perfect passport strategy without winning the lottery. But I figured since I recently saw an article in the United States about a woman who won $550-some million in Powerball, I would come back to this just as a fun topic and also provide some insight into how I think about passports. So for me, I've been through the St. Lucia process. You have 4 other countries and possibly soon to be 5 other countries in the Caribbean that offer citizenship by investment. I would probably go down and do the Grenada process in order to get visa-free access to Russia and China. That may not really be worth the $200,000 plus fees that it would cost, but again, if money's no object, and if I didn't have to worry about my time anymore, if I just had all kinds of time to sit around on the beach and fill out forms for Grenada, I would do that. I would set aside the money, to the extent necessary, to do Antigua, where I had to get married and or have children, so I can get the family 4-pack benefit of Antigua. Because it's one price basically for 4 folks. And then what I would do is I would go to places that are looking for investment and that would naturalize you through exceptions. So for example, Macedonia has talked about people who come and invest money in companies and create jobs can get a passport. Is it really a citizenship by investment program? Not entirely sure you'd call it that. They're not really selling it as a commodity. It's more of a come here, start a business, and if you meet these criteria, then we'll sit down with you and we'll give you a passport. It's done in a different way than the Caribbean programs, for example. So I would look for more opportunities like that, and I would go around and do real estate investments, start companies, hire people, and then install CEOs and stuff like that to run the companies, to have the real estate sit there. So that would be step 2. And step 3, I think I would probably go, and again, just for fun, I would be part of the new Turkey citizenship by investment program. I would buy $1 million in real estate in Istanbul, buy a nice place, and I guess I would no longer have to stay at the lovely St. Regis in Istanbul because I'd have my own place. So the passports that I would get would be Grenada, perhaps Antigua, Turkey, and I would go around and look for other opportunities where I could add value in a legal way in countries like Poland, Serbia, Russia, where they're open to that kind of thing. Obviously, what I would not be doing is going on Instagram and paying people $12,000 in cash in an envelope and getting something through someone's quote-unquote contact. But I would be going and working with countries that have expressed an interest, and there are a few others actually that have expressed an interest. And it's been published in the newspaper that they've rolled out programs that have never really caught on, but the government would like them to catch on, and I would see how you could work with those folks. And maybe I would involve some of my friends who work in the citizenship by investment business to do that. What would I not do? You can see the omissions there. I would not do the Vanuatu program as much as I love Vanuatu. I think there's a lot of confusion there. I would probably not do the other Caribbean programs, even as much as it would be cool to have, all the different Caribbean passports for less than $1 million. I just don't see how it would be worth it. I would not get a European Union passport because I think that, whether you have 556 million or 5.56 million, both are a decent amount of money. And I think that both of them would qualify you as rich, and both of them will qualify you to eventually be harassed and harangued for tax by the EU just for being a citizen. So to go to Malta or to go to Cyprus, I wouldn't do that. I think that, especially if you have that kind of money, the last thing you want to do, and you can say, well, hey, you have that much money, why not just pay the tax? I mean, if you have that kind of money, and again, even if you have much less, I think that you'd be just fine being a citizen of all of these kind of Tier B passports. Turkey would add a certain air of legitimacy for countries like here in Malaysia, where you get 90 days versus 30 days for most of the others. Turkey, I believe you can get into Mexico, which is somewhat difficult. And, you know, I think that Tier B passports with even some Tier C, technically Turkey is Tier C, would be what I would do. I would not sign up for the EU and sign up for more nonsense, because for the few countries that I couldn't go to without a visa, I would just either not go there, or I would just deal with the visa process. And I wouldn't want to get into bed with these big high-tax countries. Now, once Brexit's done, would I consider going and looking at living in the UK for a while, if I could do so in a very tax-advantaged way and eventually become a British citizen? I'd consider it. But the EU as a bloc, I would not be interested in. I would not waste my time with getting every little passport. I would probably collect some other residences through real estate investment, and if some of those eventually turned into passports, I would do that. I'm working on one of those as it is now, so that's not really related to getting a passport through winning the lottery. But on a whimsical level, I still don't think I would go nuts. And so what that speaks to is the fact that you can have a good passport portfolio without having to spend millions. You can put together a pretty good passport portfolio through a nice mix of investments, maybe a donation in the Caribbean, maybe some naturalization. If you're lucky, maybe through ancestry, although again, that's probably going to be EU. It might not be worth it in the long run. But the reality is, I wouldn't be doing that many things differently if I won the lottery in terms of getting passports. I don't think I would go and invest the 2 million euros plus VAT in Cyprus to become Cypriot. Sounds kind of cool, but I don't want the hassles of being in the EU. If you have that kind of money, why do you want the accountability? Why do you want to deal with that? And so that's what I would do. Now, we have lots of other videos here on YouTube about how to get second passports. I would encourage you to subscribe if you haven't already. Click the subscribe button. Check out the videos. Then check out nomadcapitalist.com. And if you want to build a passport portfolio, go to nomadcapitalist.com and see how you can get some help.